I don't know. Oh, right. So you want to make a thing to change the world. There's like a few things you need to know. I've collected them over my like 20 years of trying to make things with strangers on the internet. Oh, and watching other people make things with strangers on the internet and just sort of like seeing what goes right and goes wrong. So any whoozy. All right, so you want to make things with strangers on the internet. Step one, I think, is like name the thing. You have to raise the flag and say, I am making this thing here. It's also nice to have like a nice short way of describing what that thing is. Some people do a really cool thing and purposefully like don't describe it in order to make space for new potential things. That's a cool move. Sometimes it's like a little bit of a rationalization for not figuring out what you're doing. Anyway, number one, need a name. Number two, you need a place to do your thing. In previous times, this was like a coffee shop, or like even cooler if you could like have a little clubhouse, hangout space, somebody's backyard. In internet times, it used to be you would spin up like a PHPBB forum, and that would be like your internet space, or you'd make a new channel on Freenode on IRC, or you would just start tweeting about it and the people would find you. In this new era, it's a lot more like making a Telegram channel or a Discord server and making a place for your people to gather. Great, so you have a name and you have a place for people to gather. A lot of people get stuck on this step and they think they're done, and they're not done. This is just where the fun begins. So now that you have a bunch of people and you kind of like have a rough direction of where you're going, you're going to need to start keeping track of all the things that everyone wants to do. This is really hard and annoying, and it's a chore. It's also usually a gendered chore. There's usually like a really smart woman who gets like shoved into the position of taking notes, or does it by filling the vacuum. Try to avoid that weird historical patriarchal approach to note-taking and logistics. You're going to need to do it. Everyone needs to pitch in on logistics. Everyone needs to do the dishes. Everyone needs to sweep up the floor and pick up the chairs after it and help pick up trash. And if you're not doing all those things, then you're maybe not contributing to the community. This is a whole other side thing. Let's not get too much into that. There will be people who come in and are troublemakers, and we'll figure out how to deal with them later. Every community kind of figures it out in a different way. There are a few common paths either way. So you have a name, you have a place to gather, and you are building some logistics of keeping track of the things that you want to do, and maybe even gathering resources to make them possible, right? So say someone has a really cool idea. They want to paint a flag for the community. You know what I mean? There is a lot of decision-making built into this choice, right? How do we agree on what to paint on the flag? How do we acquire the flag and the paint that we're going to use? Who owns the flag? Where does it get put? My broken brain wants to answer all those questions right away. You should probably be smart and avoid doing that. Either way, you're going to need to come up with a mechanism of keeping track of the things that you want to do. And it can truly be as simple as like a pad of sticky notes. And it's like, number one, make a flag, right? So there's something that we want to do as a group. We write it down on a sticky note. We put it on the wall, right? And then when someone feels inspired and feels good, they can go take it off the wall and do it, right? This is the most basic, like, atomic unit of us working together. Someone has an idea, we record it, someone else does it, and in doing it, we can take it off the wall again. This is all basic. You knew all this stuff already, but it gets fucking complicated when you have 1,000 sticky notes. And what happens when you don't actually have the ability to, or like have a wall that you all have access to where you can put your notes? Then it gets even more complicated. Now we're making spreadsheets in Google Docs. Now we're making tickets in Jira or GitHub, right? So design these things with intentionality a little bit. It's really good to give people responsibility for tracking the ideas they have and where they are in execution and like reporting back. It's funny, or like you do kind of reinvent stand-up from first principles after a while, where you're like, all right, everybody's working on stuff. I wish there was some way I could do like a regular check-in and see where everybody was at, and like see if they had any blockers and see what their next steps are. And all of a sudden you're like doing a 10 a.m. meeting on Mondays where everyone goes over the stuff they did last week and the stuff they're planning to do next week and any blockers, and everyone sorts out blockers, and then everyone has a great week. Those are the basics, really, like truly the basic. If you want to do incredible things, that's essentially all you need. You need a name, a place to gather those people. You need a method of like tracking your to-do list and managing your logistics. And then you just need a direction to go in. Like, make dope shit. That's it, man. It's not even that complicated. And they're telling, like, none of these are secret. I guess maybe they teach this at Harvard or something. Who knows? It's like pretty fucking basic, but people like try to skip steps. They're like, oh, I'll come up with a name later, or like, we'll figure out what the space that we gather in, like what that looks like later, or we'll just put things in Google Docs, or like we'll track things in Discord threads. Like if you don't approach each of these steps with intentionality, they can kind of fall off. But yeah, that's my little unasked for drop of wisdom on how to change the world, just in case you happen to be making a Discord full of really smart people who want to do cool things and you're not exactly sure how to manage them. There's also a bunch of like really good writing books on this that we can talk about. Drasner's Engineering Management for the Rest of Us. I recommend that book to a lot of different people. I forget the name of it, just the concept, like researching the concept of consensus decision making a little bit. You don't have to be an anarchist to understand like getting everyone, especially when you have a small group of people, only doing things that everyone agrees with is like a really pragmatic way of using the energy of the people you've gathered. So look into that, and then just like non-violent communication methods, ways of managing disagreement, thinking in advance of what you will do when people disagree. It's not if people disagree. And I have worked in amazing groups of people where we never did, but almost all of them had structures to manage responsibly and like without emotion what happens when people disagree and problems need to be resolved. That's it, man. Like, make cool shit.